Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel yet again. It has been a little while since I last saw you. I have been quite sick the past few days, so I've just been hibernating for a while, but I had a lovely holiday and a happy new year, and I hope you all did as well. So now this is my first video in 2020. So exciting. So I figured I'd start it out with a bang and do a very spoilery review of The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. So, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone and anyone who watched my predictions video and commented on that. It was a lot of fun to hear your thoughts and what you thought was going to happen in this book, and I really do love engaging with you guys and talking with you guys and going back and forth and kind of picking your brains for whatever you think might happen, or your opinions, what you thought about it, anything like that. So I really do appreciate it. And now that video has over 1,000 views. Yay! So again, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Please also forgive me if I seem very nasally or very sick. Like I said, I'm getting over being sick for a few days. It turns out I did have strep and the flu. So I had to go to urgent care and I got medicine, so I've been feeling better. Yay! Anyway, as I said earlier as well, this is a very spoilery review of The Queen of Nothing. So if you have not read the book, if you don't want to know anything about the book, please do not watch this video until after you have read it. I don't want to spoil anything for you or ruin any experience you might want to have, or even influence your opinion of the book until after you've read it. But if you really don't care about anything, or you're interested to know my thoughts, opinions, ideas, whatever, feel free to continue to watch, and I hope you enjoy this video. So The Queen of Nothing. So this book basically picks up right after, or very soon after, June has been banished to the human world by Cardan, which happened at the end of the second book in the series, The Wicked King. And the only way for her to go back to the land of the fairy, Fulcane, whatever, is to basically complete an impossible task that we all know, would never be possible. So, meh. Jude is doing these jobs in the human world and making money that way. She gets hired by other fae, and she's very good at combat, and so she makes her money how she can. But yeah, she's kind of mopey, a little bit angry at the beginning of the book, but that all changes when her twin sister comes, Taryn. Now, if you know me, I don't like Taryn, never liked Taryn, still don't like Taryn, but in any case, whatever. They're sisters, I try and get it. Yeah. So she shows up out of nowhere and says that Locke is dead, which is something that came out before the book had been released as kind of like a spoiler thing. Locke is dead, and guess what? She's pregnant! Like, are you serious? What? Taryn explains this to Jude. Jude is like, oh my god. And at first, Jude was like, no, I'm not going back, screw that, whatever. But then after Taryn tells her, oh, I'm pregnant and I killed Locke, and oh, you need to help me. Because what they want to do to Taryn is bring her in and question her. And of course they're going to use their fae fruits to make her do whatever they want, say, and speak the truth. So Taryn knows though that Jude is immune to that. So Taryn wants Jude to go to the land of Fae, pretending to be her, and to go basically in front of the court and in front of Cardan and say that she didn't kill Locke, and that she doesn't know, she had no part in how he died, and that in order not to be executed or punished, whatever it is. So Taryn needs Jude to help her with this. Being a good sister, Jude is like, all right, fine. I will go and pretend to be you and exonerate you, and you can live freely, and you'll come back to Elfham, and then I'll go back to the human world to be a good sister. But of course she wants to see, deep down, she wants to see Cardan too, because he's a dummy that banished her, but she's also a dummy because she didn't get the riddle. So she goes. She goes off to the land of Elfheim, dresses up, tries to act like Taryn, all that fun stuff. And then she goes in front of everybody, and of course Cardan is there to question her, and she's able to answer honestly, or not honestly, because, you know, she's lying, but she's able to say, like, I didn't kill my husband, Locke, even though it's not her husband. And Cardan tries to test her and everything. So after that, actually Cardan takes her away to speak privately. So this is very scary for Jude, who's pretending to be Taryn, but very exciting for me as the reader, because I'm like, oh, Sam, oh, here we go, I think. And of course, once they're alone, he knows that it's Jude, and they kind of have a moment where they reunite, but it's very short-lived because Maddox decides to attack and take Jude away to their campsite, thinking it's Taryn and that Cardan's going to do terrible things to her. So she basically wakes up and is in this campsite. I don't really want to get too much into like the step-by-step of the book, but while Jude is at Maddox's camp, she learns some things about what they're planning. Eventually she is rescued by Cardan and I believe the bomb, and she's taken back, and they go back to the kingdom, and it's revealed, you know, Jude is the High Queen of Elfheim, and they're trying to stop this huge war from happening before anything crazy like triggers it. And what ends up happening is that same guy who created all these special weapons or items that have everything also like created the crown. And when Cardan is saying to his people that they follow him basically because they believe in him and he's not a terrible person, like they don't follow him out of fear, they follow him because they love him. He breaks the crown, which then triggers this spell which has never been hinted to in any prior book, and Cardan turns into a snake. So again, when I had my prediction video, I was like, oh, this is like, you know, the snake is like signaling change, or you gotta be careful, maybe it's Taryn, whatever it is. It's actually, when the crown is broken, it triggers this curse, which again, it came out of nowhere, so I was a little like taken aback, like, whoa, we're having this come in the final book of a series that's only 300 so pages. Okay. So then for the remainder of the book, Jude is trying to figure out the cure to turn Cardan back. Eventually it does happen, and the whole conflict with Maddox ends, and he's taken off to jail. He's not even killed. He's not badly hurt or anything. And then the book ends with Jude and Cardan in the human world eating pizza with Viv and her girlfriend Heather and Oak. And yeah. Now again, I know like I haven't explained everything. There's a lot more that happens in this book. But at the same time, everybody knows. I've done most of my channel right now because it's still new. It still has a lot of the Holly Black, the Folk of the Air series books on it, content, whatever. So I was so hyped for this book. You cannot believe when I did my predictions video, I was like, oh yeah, this, you know, maybe this will happen, maybe this will happen, maybe that'll happen, you know. And there was really not much on my predictions list that did end up happening, which was slightly disappointing, but I get it. It's whatever, like maybe something better would happen. But it was just, the book is 305 pages. It's the final book to the series that I have loved. I gave both The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King 5 stars, and I was so excited. I love both of those 2 books. And this book, it was just like, I was on this high, and I read this book, and I was like, okay, what? So, yeah. And I mentioned, too, in one of my previous videos, that this book actually it came out earlier than it was supposed to. It was actually supposed to come out this month, in January, from what I understand. And they actually moved it up to November, which is when it was released. And we got The Wicked King in January of 2019. So we got 2 books in 1 year. And my thought, or kind of like theory about why it came out so soon, was because the book didn't want to compete with the new Sarah J. Maas book, Crescent City, which was supposed to come out in January of this year, but actually ended up being moved back to March. So that was my whole thing. So it doesn't feel like, when reading The Queen of Nothing, it didn't feel complete. It felt rushed. We didn't have many moments between Jude and Cardan, which, hello, like, I love it, and it's so good, and I wanted to know more or see more of their relationship becoming more trustful and more and deeper and all this fun stuff, but we didn't really get that. We got her coming back, then being stolen away, then there's suddenly like a new curse, and yeah, the curse is eventually broken, and then it ended with them in the human world. In all honesty, I think this book should have, or there should have been more time spent on this book, I think. Sure, it was still entertaining, but it wasn't as like, whoa, or exciting, I think, as the first two books. I think especially because too that, I mean, this curse that comes out of nowhere and has to be resolved in this book because you know there's no other books coming out is kind of, I don't know, I don't think it should have been in there. I think there should have been more conflict between like Cardan, Jude, and Madoc, like that this focused on more in this book, and then how that was resolved to stop the war, and then maybe like how their life is now that they've settled in, and or even throughout as that's happening, also Jude and Cardan regaining each other's trust and becoming closer, things like that. I mean, you know I love romance, so any type of that is great. The book didn't really flow well compared to the other books, and just seemed to have like, oh, here's a curse, we gotta fix it kind of thing. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you know, maybe you watching also felt the same, that the book, The Queen of Nothing, I was really disappointed. And I was not expecting to be as disappointed as I was. And I mean, the writing style still is great. I think Holly Black, like I've said in my previous videos, has improved so much from the Tithe series that was hoo. So again, like I love this. I love the world she created. I love the characters, but I almost feel like Jude and Cardan need a novella. Let's get a novella just with Jude and Cardan about their life in Elfheim. Then I'll feel a little bit better if it's cute. I mean, I would want it to be 5,000 pages, but, you know, that's probably never going to happen, especially if it's a novella. But, I mean, this full book is a size, or could be a novella. Novellas can be like this. And then how? How is Madoc alive? Too. That was another thing. Like how? With all the stuff that he did, all the plotting, all the planning, all the deception, all of the, you know, the sneakiness, he's alive and he went to jail. Sure, I guess we should not always kill everyone we don't like in books, but I was really looking forward to that Jude and Madoc showdown and for her to just destroy him, basically. But that never happened. In conclusion, although I like this book, I am definitely left feeling like I want more. I can't help it. I just felt like, you know, when I finished it, I was like, wow, it's over? Although the characters themselves, like I still like the characters, but it just didn't feel like they were fully written as they have been throughout the series, and especially in the first two books. So they just felt a little, I don't know if awkward is the correct term for it, but they just didn't feel as authentic or as like, yes, this is how Cardan would react. And characters do develop, they do change, they do grow, they learn, and I'm sure that's what they were doing in this book. But at the same time, I want to see that and feel that as well as I'm reading it, being like, wow, okay, yeah, he or she is considering this, they're doing that, and now they're making these choices now because they're older, wiser, whatever. But it just didn't feel that way. And of course, when they're talking about being vulnerable, there's a part in the book about being vulnerable and how do you do it, and basically you're taking one piece of armor off at a time. And sure, yes, that makes sense, but I want to see the process. I want to read about it, and I want it to make sense. And yeah, sorry my camera died, so I had to put a new battery in. My rating for this book is going to be, and I myself am very surprised, but again, whatever. It's going to be a 3 out of 5 stars. 3. I think it's pretty fitting. I did enjoy it. I still thought pretty entertaining, but I am just pretty disappointed in all honesty. So what can you do? I'd probably still read the series again as a whole later, But yeah, I'm just gonna let it chill for a while. In any case, let me know what you thought about this book down below. Did you read it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just okay? I love to see your comments. I love to read your comments and respond. I try to respond as much as I can, as long as I am not very sick. So feel free to leave a comment down below if you like this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you like my content. If not, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.